Right, gentlemen, welcome to week 3 of the off season. Another increase in calories this week, so sitting right around 5,000 calories, which is absolutely insane considering that's not really making me gain too much weight. The reason my calories have been going up is because we're trying to find maintenance or slightly above maintenance, but it seems to be a bit of a task right now finding maintenance. My metabolism is clearly, running way quicker than I originally anticipated it would. Just knocked off work, got changed into the gym clothes at work. I'm rocking the Street Fighter tee today. And today is pool day. Yesterday was actually the first day of the week, but we had a public holiday, so I was just taking some downtime to enjoy it with my partner and do some normal everyday living stuff. But back to the grind now, back to the weekly videos. Obviously training never takes a back foot or anything like that, or the eating or the day-to-day stuff of bodybuilding, but the filming took a back seat for a day, but we're back onto it. We're not going to film much of this session, but I will put some training clips in during this week. It's just that the last week I did put a back day in there, so I'll try and do a different day this week rather than doing a just back day week after week. I'll try and do something else instead. So maybe we'll put like something fun, like a push day or something like that. But for now, I'm heading to the gymnasium to hit some back. Dark chocolate, beautiful. Gonna let that cool before we put the protein in, and then go get a shower and get ready. And another pro tip as well, heat your berries up and pour them on top of your oats. It's like pancakes type shit. The reason we're letting it cool is because if you put the protein in too soon, it will cook the protein inside the oats and go all like gritty, which is kind of gross. Alright, boom, just like that, I'm ready for work. I'm going to finish off making the oats. I'll just put the protein in. So it's cooled down now, so it shouldn't cook the protein inside there. Move this down a little bit so you can see my face. Alright, so we're going to go in with some whey, some salt, some dark chocolate and some honey as well, and I'll show you guys what the final product looks like. Oh, and the berries too. Don't forget the berries. Tell me that doesn't look delicious. About to wolf this down, go to work. What you have just witnessed was me before work, getting ready for work. And what I was doing in that video is some form of abdominal control. I believe it's called the Valsalva maneuver. Now, what you're doing is you're practicing core control through, you hold a vacuum as long as you can. What it does is it lets you practice abdominal control. So what you're doing is you're not just strengthening the walls on the exterior, so the six-pack that you see, you're also strengthening the layers that are behind the abdominal wall. So you've got, your transverse abdominis and things like that, which are actually behind the six-pack that you see. And what that controls is the stomach coming in and out. So what I was doing is pulling a vacuum for as long as I can, and then blowing all that air out and contracting my abdominal wall as hard as I can. And what this is helping me do, and obviously is helping keep the core nice and tight, not just the front, but the sides as well. And the reason this is important is because if you can maintain that level of abdominal control through the off season when food volume's high and things like that, then you're gonna have so much of an easier time doing that shit on stage. And this is what I wanted to speak to. It's really important to ensure that you are maximizing your off season and treating it almost like a prep. Like it's no good and no use to get 2 weeks into your prep, or 2 weeks before your prep starts, and then start practicing these things. If you can have these things honed in and nailed down all through the off season, your transition into prep and your prep itself is just going to be so much easier. And that's even things like, cardio and things like that. If you're already doing that, it's so much easier to know what it's going to do to your body by ramping it up or taking some away. So a lot of the things that we do through contest prep, like vacuum practice and abdominal control, we should be doing in the off season anyway. I am just after work now, so just leaving work. Got changed at work into my gym clothes, and I'm heading to the gymnasium, which I'm just around the corner from now, and I'll take you guys through my second push day of the week. So with me targeting upper body this prep, volume still isn't at absolute maximum. We're still in this post-show recovery phase. We're only 3 weeks post-show, so we're not pushing everything to complete failure yet, but we're inching our way closer. So if you see me do some less than optimal sets here, don't worry, I am going to do some good sets as we go. So this is the last week or so training at about 1 to 2 reps from failure, and then next week we're going to hit it hard, true failure. And that's just given us essentially a nice long runway to grow into. We don't want to end the off season 4 weeks into it because we're completely fatigued and there's nowhere else to increase our reps and load to, because we went fucking redlined it fucking week 1. So the same goes for food as well. We don't want to be we don't want to overdo the food straight away and then have no other tools basically to use. So what that means is starting your surplus as small as possible, and then when you start noticing growth and things like that going down, then you're all well and good to start increasing your food. But if you start in a 2,000 plus calorie surplus, then you're just gonna, hit a wall real quick, and all you're gonna gain is fucking body fat and visceral fat. So just make sure that you've got your food and your habits in the right place, and that you're leaving yourself some runway to work with. It's like you wouldn't build a cabinet with every tool in the toolbox unless they were required. So make sure you're using the tools for the job and you're not damaging the tools that you could use down the line, if that makes sense. Anyway, let's get in there. Let's get this chest session done. I'll see you boys in there. Right, fresh out the shower, blue light blockers on. For those that don't know, I purchased a pair of blue light blockers. Um, and honestly, so far, so good. I mean, I was getting sleep scores around 72 before I was having them, going to bed at the same time, and now I'm getting around 78 to 84. So I don't know if it's a placebo or if it's just like I've had a couple of like a week's worth of good sleep somehow in a row, but it does seem to have, been a little 1%er that has helped. So if anyone is having trouble with their sleep, maybe one of the little 1%ers you could do is get a pair of these blue light blockers, because what they do is they block the light from our TVs, which is like blue light or whatever, and I think it either simulates sunlight or it's the same type of light rays that the sun produces in terms of like the waves, which is blue light waves. And I guess most of the receptors for light is in our eyes. So that's how we tell whether it's day or night. I mean, you've got light receptors all over your body as well, but the strongest ones are probably like your eyes, you know what I mean? Because that's what we use to see dark versus light. So if you put these on, it's supposed to block those light waves from entering your eyes. Like everything's orange that I see now. It's like living in the world of Breaking Bad, but you only have to wear them from when you go to bed. When it turns dark to when you go to bed. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, maybe it's a little 1% you can give a go.
Yeah, it was like 51 point.
51 inches,
Yeah.
51.5 inches or 131 centimeters.
Yeah.
Not a bad result today. Up 101, well, up 1.3 kilos this week's. Body fat has remained the same. Most measurements were the same, except for chest has had some increase, 2 to 3 centimeters, but I think it's more from glycogen refill, just due to me being sick. I've started doing shoulder measurements this week, so it was 131 centimeters around the shoulders, and obviously I want to keep tracking that as well. Um, Strangely enough, though, some of my abdominal measurements were lower, some were higher. So my hips were slightly higher, but above my navel was lower, and I think that might be due to the vacuum work I've been doing, which was could be helping. Um, Everything else is going to stay the same again this week. I might actually increase my food slightly, I'm not sure. I'm just going to hold on the current calories and see what they do. Just put some more morning weigh-ins in your calendar just to check that trend is still going up in the right direction, because whilst I'm redoing your diet, it might be good to do some calorie adjustments too, just in case you know, you need to increase the... We're in the backyard, not finished yet, but my god, look at that sunset. Just finishing up, well, what you would have just seen is me finishing up a bunch of check-ins today, which was a long day of check-ins. Got some client onboarding done as well. So I've basically been sat on my ass for fucking like 6 hours and I've only got like 3,000 steps. So I don't know if I'm going to hit my 15 to 20,000 step goal today, but I'm going to go on a massive walk now and I reckon I'll get above 10k by the end of it. And then I'm going to do some meal prepping for the week. Some of it's already done. And I make my life easier by buying things like packet rice, which you guys should definitely look into. Buy packet rice, cans of tuna, things that are already almost prepped make your life so much easier, especially if you can buy them cooked and things like that. You're already like, you know, 10 steps ahead. You don't have to cook it, it's already cooked. It's just a case of portioning it up. So like, you know, grab 4 cans of tuna if that's how much meat you need for your meal. Program yourself 250 grams of rice in packets so that you can just easily grab those if needed. Anyway, onto the walk, and then I'm going to come back, meal prep, and then relax for the rest of the arvo, and set some new training goals and whatnot for myself for the week and just sort of wind down. But yeah, that is everything for this week's vlog. If you enjoy what you're seeing, make sure you subscribe, like, follow along. And yeah, there's plenty more where that came from. This is just the end of week 3. We've still got, 49 more weeks till next year's show, so let's go.